Okay. Let's get this camera out. Let's get these angles going. Let's get this going. Okay. Let's make my sound up as what the sound is going as well. And we're good. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. It's not exactly how I'd want things to be. I'm not at my place, but nonetheless, I'm going to do this video anyway. I've put this as a members only chat, so only because of the members only, I don't get all the trolls coming through, and they can be quite disruptive and very annoying. This video is one that I really want to get. This subject I want to really get into as much as I can, as long as I can hold this camera up. Roy Jones Jr. working with Eubank Jr. So, the reason why I've got the picture up of Isaac Chilembe, the former light heavyweight champion of the world, up on the wall or up on the thumbnail at this point in time is because Isaac Chilembe is also trained by Roy Jones Jr. And in my two-part lockdown series, when we first went into lockdown, I spoke to Isaac Chilembe, and one of the key things I discussed with Isaac is what type of a trainer is Roy Jones Jr.? And he gave me a magnificent breakdown as to the type of trainer Roy Jones Jr. is. And it gave me psychologically the insight of Roy Jones Jr., how he thinks, what his mindset is like. And then now I can watch Roy Jones working alongside Chris Eubank Jr., and it gives me an interesting take, or more insightful take, than a guy just watching Roy Jones, the former pound for pound best fighter in the world, training with Chris Eubank Jr. And the idea would be, oh, well, because it's Roy Jones, then he's ultimately going to be a great trainer because he was a great fighter. There are certain attributes you need to become a great trainer, but I believe Roy Jones has. Speaking with Isaac Chilembe, Roy Jones has got some great attributes there. Of course, being a former pound for pound great. I think I said former pound for pound great. He's a current great, but former pound for pound number one fighter. Apologies, Roy. So I want to break this down in some different ways. First of all, let's just talk about Chris Eubank Jr. He's had his father training him, and Ronnie Davis. Ronnie Davis is somebody I know fairly well as well, because it's a small community. I live in Sussex, and I knew Ronnie Davis when I used to box in Sussex in my amateur days. And my trainer and Ronnie Davis were very good friends, Paul and Ronnie. And they used to compare me to Howard Eastman in the way I used to box and the style I had. But I think they kind of took the negative, not so much Ronnie, but more my trainer, took the negative connotations of Howard Eastman being lackluster and stuff. And I didn't think I was a lackluster fighter at all, but that's beside the point. The point is this: that's how I come to know Ronnie Davis. And of course, when I used to do my runs, I used to see Chris signing autographs. That's why I understood why Chris Eubank Sr. could never fight for 3 minutes. The reason why he couldn't fight for 3 minutes is because Jim Watt made a statement many years ago. You fight the way you train. Eubank never used to train for 3 minutes, train for a minute, pose up, train for a minute. Even when he did his runs, he'd run, stop, run, stop, run. That's why Eubank's style was he'd work for a minute and then pose and bide time. Watching Eubank's fights, can never fight consistently for 3 minutes. Didn't have the stamina to fight for 3 minutes. So what Eubank would do, he had a very, very smart strategy that people didn't pick up. For the most part, Eubank would use a jab. Jab, 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 jab. Yes. How you doing, brother? Jab, 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 jab. Put a combination together. Rack up 6 rounds. And then he knew there was no way you could beat him. The most you could get out of Eubank Sr. was a draw. Okay, that's what Eubank did to most opponents. I'm not talking about Nigel Benn so much, because that was a different type of opponent, or Steve Collins. Anyone who really brought the fight and had some real danger about him, Eubank, you saw the best of Chris Eubank Sr. Now, Chris Eubank Sr. and Chris Eubank Jr.'s careers have been managed very differently. You know, Sr. went to America, did the Golden Gloves, had a hard time in England, America, really learned his trade, and came back to the UK and met with Barry Hearn and said to Barry Hearn, listen, the minute I lose a fight, I'm out of here. So he basically set the tone, or so it was rumored, he set the tone with Barry Hearn as to how his career would be. And he made no bones about the fact that he wanted to fight a string of people who were never going to beat him. Him not getting beat was the whole thing about Chris Eubank Sr., okay? And that's how he managed his career. Junior got a different treatment altogether, which is sometimes that perplexes me about Junior and Senior. Senior said, "Oh well, those people in charge then took advantage of me," and I get it, intellectual property and all the rest of it. I get that, I hear that, but wait, what did you do differently with your son? Did you give your son that start that you had in terms of having an unbeaten record and fighting a whole heap of people that nobody knew about and nobody cared about? Nah. Like the way Eubank Sr. swerved Mike McCallum. It was Kid Milo, maybe? I don't even remember. I think it was Kid Milo that Eubank fought. And Eubank was getting hurt to the body a lot. And obviously, Mike McCallum was the body snatcher. And there was a fight that was set up between Mike McCallum and Chris Eubank Sr. Well, that fight got swerved because we all knew that Mike McCallum was an excellent body puncher. And Eubank wouldn't want anybody near his body. Of course, that came back again when Ben worked and hit Eubank to the body. I can't remember what round it was. After his tongue had been opened up, Ben was going. He was a vicious puncher, Ben, going to Eubank's body. But I'm just talking about the management side of things. Of course, Chris Jr. Fought a bunch of people that really nobody really cared about. And he didn't have the Golden Gloves. I think he won some amateur tournament somewhere. I don't know much about that. But what I do know is, as a pro, I think Eubank Sr. learned how to box. This is what I'm basically saying to you. I don't think Eubank Jr. learned how to box. He may have learned how to brawl. He may have learned how to, absorb punishment. Because I said this, if you go back a few years back, I said about Eubank Jr., and this is before it came out, I said, I can imagine Eubank Sr. being the type of guy that would see his son get pummeled by a heavyweight and say, you got to be brought up strong and hard. And guess what? He revealed that later on in an interview. So there are some things that Junior's learned through Senior, showmanship, how to articulate yourself, how to be, a bit quirky, a bit different. And for the first part of his career, his dad was always there all the time. People would almost, not mock Eubank Jr., but they would say, you're your daddy's son. And I think, Eubank Sr. walked him through his career. I still think up to this day that the fight with him and Billy Joe Saunders was an absolute money grab. And they should never have taken that fight because Eubank hadn't done 12 rounds. I think he'd done 10 rounds. He'd never done 12 rounds. And I just think that he was rushed into the Billy Joe Saunders fight. I don't know if it's because his dad had financial issues. I don't know. But that fight, they should never have been anywhere near Billy Joe Saunders. Had he fought the Billy Joe Saunders fight, having done a few 12-rounders, then I think it would have been a better fight because now Eubank would have had to fight at the pace he did, trying to hold back himself for the first 6 rounds and then come on strong in the last 6 rounds. Because if you look at the first 6 rounds, Eubank did relatively nothing. And then his last 6, it was his big push. So, and Saunders had just that little bit more experience. So and even then, if you go back and look at it, think about it. Look at Billy Joe Saunders when he fought Nick Blackwell. I remember watching that fight, and Nick Blackwell really pushing Saunders to the limit. and Saunders having some stamina issues again, but unable to really push down hard on Saunders because of I think that Blackwell could have really pushed on Saunders and given him more problems than he did. So now, let me get back to this point about Roy Jones Jr. and Eubank Jr. Eubank Jr. has fought at the highest level of boxing without actually knowing how to box. Think about this. Eubank Jr. has fought at the highest level of boxing without actually being able to use fundamentals to box. Now, I find Eubank Jr. to be one of my favorite fighters. He is one of my favorite fighters because he's his quirkiness, because of his heart, and because of his willingness to engage and fight whoever's out there. I've got a lot of time for Eubank Jr. That doesn't mean, because I like somebody, it means that I ignore their fundamentals or I ignore the flaws that I have as a fighter. No, but just means I just spend a little bit more time with him. And it's somebody I knew growing up. I mean, I knew Eubank Jr. Like when I used to live in Hove, I used to see Eubank Jr. He used to come into Hove Park. He used to come into the park. Do you understand? And I remember kicking a football around little Eubank Jr. So I knew of the Eubanks. They might have forgotten me. Chris Eubank Sr. I often used to see when I used to do my runs and when I used to talk to Chris. I'd see Chris in the middle of the street and say, "Hey, Chris, how you doing?" And he even advised me. Before I went off to America to train at Roy Jones's gym in Florida. He advised me, made some advice. He gave me advice of training. I had got an American trainer and I went and trained out in the States for a while. I got my cousin Keston. He was from Florida. So he hooked me up with Roy Jones's gym and I went in there, trained there. I managed to bump. Well, that's another story in another day, but we'll talk about that some other time. But the point is this, coming back to my point. Eubank Jr., as I said, I like him as a fighter because of his heart, his guts, his brawling, and his willingness to fight anybody and everybody. The problem I have is, fundamentally, the boy can't box. He cannot box, okay? And this sport is about boxing. Only so much of your brawling can get you so far. So here was one of the telltale signs when people were talking about Eubank versus Groves, yeah? And I said, Eubank Jr. versus Groves. And Eubank Sr. was saying, "Oh, I'm very worried about George Groves. My son's an animal, blah, 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 blah. I don't want George to get hurt and all this stuff." And I said to people, watch Eubank Jr. and his pre-fight workout and watch George Groves' pre-fight workout. It gives you a sign of what's to come. And if you watch George Groves, fundamentals, good left jab, good right hand, left hook, uppercuts, putting punches together in good combinations, orthodox style. Okay? George Groves, another fighter that I like, but the switching of trainers, the stamina issues, and the questionable durability has always been something around George Groves, but I still like the Saint. So when I'm watching the two guys, I'm watching Eubank Jr., and he's throwing all these mad punches. I'm thinking to myself, this is with the Super 6 tournament. And I'm watching Eubank Jr. throw all these wild punches. I'm going, the fans are looking, "Oh, look at Eubank throwing all them punches." But they don't understand boxing. Throwing 1,000 punches on a pads, or 1,000 punches in a minute on pads is highly impressive. But A, nobody's going to stand there and let you hit you. And B, more importantly, where's the strategy behind that? You train the way you're going to fight. And so, when Eubank Jr. fights, there is no strategy. It's just go forward and chuck punches and overwhelm your opponent. And if it pulls off, it pulls off. There's no strategy. Lots of punches, no strategy, no game plan, no tactics. I'll hit you with this punch and I'll step off here and I'll set this trap for you. None of that stuff. Real raw, basic caveman fighting is what I call it. Caveman fighting. And then you've got George Goddard behind an educated jab. Every time Eubank tries to set his foot to throw punches, bam, he's getting hit with a jab. Getting pinged with a jab all the time. Ping with a jab all the time. You know, the James DeGale fight, James DeGale was shot. I said to people, Badu Jack took his soul. And James DeGale, I was the one who said it. James DeGale replied in a video, and he said, "Oh, people saying that my soul's been taken." Well, James, the proof of the pudding was in the eating. After that, you fought my boy from America. He took your title from you. You had a rematch with him. You didn't look great in that fight. And Eubank came along and just mopped you up because you were there for the taking. And there we go. Paulie Malignaggi was training you. Well, that's going to make a difference. When you got mopped up, you had no balance. You know, you couldn't put your punches together. Just got mopped up by Eubank Jr., right? But again, that marauding style, is coming forward, chucking punches like a caveman. That worked with James DeGale because he was there to be hit and he couldn't get out of the way and he was shot as a fighter. That's different. So here we have now, after trainer with Eubank Jr., he goes to Roy Jones Jr. Now, I did a video, I think the last video I did when I did this long chat, I said the three fighters that got more people knocked out in boxing are Mayweather, the shoulder roll, Muhammad Ali, hands down and dancing around the ring, yeah, and Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, and this guy, Roy Jones Jr. Everybody wants to be Roy, hands behind the back, throwing left hooks to the body, you setting up punches without throwing the jab. Roy, early on in his career, could get away with that nonsense. He could do that, and I call it nonsense. Because, why do I call it nonsense? Roy could get away with it because Roy had fast twitch muscles. Roy had exceptional speed, power. He was gifted and talented. But Roy himself, when that speed and reflexes were gone, all the bad habits Roy had caught up with him. And that's why you saw Roy get knocked out the way he got knocked out. That's why you don't see Bernard Hopkins get knocked out the same way. Because Hopkins has good boxing fundamentals. Roy never had good boxing fundamentals. Roy had speed and power, right? Yeah, Roy could box. Yeah. But what I'm saying is speed and his power is key attributes there. Roy Jones, you wouldn't watch a Roy Jones fight and say, you know, Roy's dominating behind just the left jab alone. No. Roy's a man who will hit you with 3 left hooks and 4 right hands and blistering punches. And that's all well and good. Entertaining, exciting. And I love Roy Jones. Don't get me wrong. But that's Roy Jones. That's why his name is Roy Jones, not Eubank Jr. Right? I'm stating the obvious to a point. So now, Eubank Jr., who tries to box Eubank Jr., I am telling you now, I swear, he has been watching Roy Jones fights via YouTube and trying to do that shit himself. Watch how he fights. Trying to do that shit himself. So when he gets the opportunity now to train with the idol Roy Jones Jr., let me tell you, it's a bad combination. You're with your idol has got bad habits. And you go pick up, you already idolizing him, and you go pick up them bad habits. And you ain't even half the boxer that Roy is. You not even got half the skill that Roy's got. You ain't got half the boxing brain that Roy's got. And you go pick up them habits. So you're learning how to do the Rooster. Okay. Well, Rooster got caught. And people now eating Rooster burgers, chicken burgers, right? The moral of the story is this. I hope to the heavens, because Eubank Jr.'s got no real defense. I hope to the heavens that Eubank Jr., who can't box straight, we know he can't box. We know that he's got some shocking fundamentals. And we know his heart and guts and balls of steel he's got, but can't box. So now he's going to a guy who himself's boxing fundamentals have been shaky to learn from. Roy got out of a lot of trouble because of his speed and power and footwork, right? but he got away with a lot of stuff because of his speed, power, and footwork. So when you're anything less than that, you're going to get, as Bermain Steven would say, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. And Roy, you've seen, get hurt on a number of occasions. And don't give me the rubbish about, yeah, but remember, he moved down, he lost 35 pounds or 25 or 40 pounds from the Tarver fight. What, so he's weight drained in the Danny Green fight, and he was weight drained in the Enzo Macronelli fight, and he was weight drained in the Enzo Macronelli fight, and he was weight drained in Glenn Johnson fight, and he was weight drained in the Lebedev fight, was he? So he's weight drained all in fights? Come on, get out of here, man. Get out of here. Or as my friend with Nigeria say, I think it's Nigeria, get out of it. Do me a favor. Get out of here. Get out of here. With that rubbish, right? I love Roy Jones Jr. Fastest hands in the West. Some brutal knockouts. His knockout of Virgil Hill, who was a top light heavyweight. Took him out of a single body shot. Beautiful. You know, fights with when he fought what's the fight? The way he did what he did to to James Toney, a weight drain James Toney. The way where Toney dropped his hands in front of Roy and Roy drops Toney. Stuff like that. You know, that stuff, Roy Jones, and there are many others. The fight where he put his hands behind his back and he caught the guy. Great. But Roy Jones is a great fighter. The Reggie Johnson fight was a good fight as well, of course. There's a lot of Roy Jones fights, you know, I'm probably missing out on. But the point is this. I'm a massive Roy Jones fan. But you have to also take into consideration upstairs here, people, that Roy Jones also got knocked out for those same reasons as he started to lose that speed, and we caught up with him and the mistakes he was making, right? And even then, even prime Roy Jones, remember when he fought Lou Duval and Lou Duval dropped him? Remember that? Okay. So what I'm saying to you is that Eubank Jr., who can't box, yeah, it's clear, is learning the Rooster from Roy Jones. Now, I think that Eubank Jr. will learn some very good things from Roy Jones if he listens. There are some fighters that just don't damn well listen. And where you might see a picture of him and Roy working together, I don't think Roy will stand for any nonsense. And if he realizes that Eubank ain't serious, I don't know if that relationship will work. Do you understand? And it's like he's picking a bit from this trainer here, picking a bit from that trainer there. Where's the loyalty? You know, understand this in boxing, people. You need to spend 3 to 5 fights to really begin to work out the vision for that trainer. Look, for example, when I go and work at a club, yeah, I need a minimum of 6 to 8 matches to start to see the vision that I have for the players coming together. I don't just coach them for one game, and they might take a few things that I've said from and start to put it in, implement it. But I need a minimum of 6 to 8 games. I need a season to work with a club, work with a team. And then you start to see them winning matches. You start to see them making the changes. Some of the bad habits that they've had, they start to get out of those bad habits and start to implement the good habits that you've been teaching them. Okay? So I understand what it takes to be successful. Right? But it takes time for them to get rid of those owl habits. You've got time to get out of those owl habits. Trust you need to build between fighter and trainer. And so many things you've got to... And if you don't listen, it's not good. So I am concerned that Eubank Jr. training and learning under Roy Jones is going to make him worse. We have to see how long he stays with Roy, because if he doesn't stay long with Roy, he's going to get hurt, as Stefan says. And I wouldn't like to see Eubank Jr. try to do the Rooster against someone like Charlo. Would you? Would you like to see Eubank Jr. doing the Rooster against Canelo? Really? Really? Just picture that. Eubank Jr. doing the Rooster in front of Canelo. Eubank Jr. doing the Rooster in front of Golovkin. You see, Eubank Jr. is perfect for them guys, because them guys like guys that don't move too much. And Eubank ain't a guy who's going to dance around the ring and go behind a jab and box and move from side. You know, Eubank going to give you that. Eubank going to come straight in front of you and try and brawl. So he moves straight into the hands of people like Canelo and Golovkin, seasoned pros who've got great depth in the amateur pedigree. And in the pros, you know, you make a mistake, they will devastate you. All right? They will hurt you. You understand? And he's lucky that George Groves had the injury to his shoulder. Think about it just for a second, that 12th round where George Groves had one arm. One arm. And Eubank couldn't put him away. One arm. Carl Froch had George Groves with both hands, and he cleaned him out of one shot. Think about that for a second. I like Eubank Jr. I think he's a character. I think he's exciting, but he needs to learn boxing fundamentals. He doesn't need to be no damn Roy Jones Jr. All right, in my opinion, he don't need to be no damn Roy Jones Jr. It's making things worse. It ain't making things better. You think, look at the trainers that Eubank's gone with. Mayweather. How long did he stay with Mayweather for? Okay. He's been training with Roy Jones. How long is that going to last for? He's with Adam Booth. Then before that, he was with, what was that guy he was with? He was training with. I mean, how many trainers has Eubank Jr. had? There's a such thing called uncoachable. I hope to God that is not the situation with Eubank Jr. The young man needs to know how to throw a jab properly. He needs to learn how to put when to throw combinations, why throwing the combinations, why, when, how to throw the combinations. It's not so much how the combination, it's when to throw the combinations, when to open the door, when to close the door. Do you understand? When to engage and when not to engage. When to throw the uppercut, when not to throw the uppercut. You know, a lot of things like that. How to block a left jab. And the Rooster is not going to teach you how to block a left jab. Again, that was a snippet of Roy working with Eubank Jr. And I'm sure Roy is giving him some tricks. But if you're not a man who comes from fundamentals, you can't teach fundamentals, all right? If you didn't have a solid base yourself, it's very difficult to teach a solid base afterwards, because your mentality was, well, this is what I did. This is what I did in my career. I whooped ass doing this, throwing 4 left hooks. Instead of setting everything up with a jab, I started throwing with a left. I started my lead with a right hand. So whereas the fundamental guy will throw a left jab to start a combination off, Roy starts off with a straight right hand. Then come follow you up with a left hook. You try and do that. You try and do that shit and get yourself knocked out against a nice cute counter puncher. You try starting to lead with the right hand. Guy slips on and bangs you with a left hook. Do you understand? Roy's brain and his body was set up to do what Roy was doing. Special. You understand? Special. Muhammad Ali didn't throw body shots, right? Muhammad Ali, for all we want to talk about Muhammad Ali, he was the greatest of all time. He was also one of the most stupidest as well. Because you say Ali was stupid? Yeah, I am. You allow big George Foreman to pound on your body, to lay on the ropes, which everyone calls a rope-a-dope. To lay on the ropes and let a man like George Foreman pound your body. That was the best Ali could do to beat Foreman. Given, and I accept that, and I appreciate that. but you're pissing blood afterwards, and all your internals are getting smashed up by someone like Foreman. Imagine Foreman threw a punch and he killed a cow or a bull, I heard. So Ali just sitting on the ropes taking all them punches, that's not good. That's not clever. And that was something I respected Floyd Mayweather for saying. That wasn't clever, sitting on the ropes, but that's how Ali did about his business. That's how Ali went about the business. You get any youngster trying to do that Ali stuff now on the ropes, they're going to get themselves seriously hurt. So you just said, Ruben, if Roy could teach him the left hook. It's not Roy throwing the left hook. There's an intelligence that goes with that. I'm not saying Eubank Jr. isn't intelligent, but that's not going to happen with one training session. That's not going to happen with one fight. That's going to have to happen with like three, 4, 5, 6 fights, which means you have to have a commitment to that trainer, which means that you have to listen to that trainer, which means you have to be invested in that trainer as the trainer's invested with you. Is Eubank Jr. going to be invested in Roy Jones Jr.? How much of his father has influence in that say of Roy Jones? I don't know. I want Eubank Jr. to go on and become undisputed middleweight champion of the world because I like him. Is he going to do that? No, I don't think so. But I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it, but I don't think so. Based on the fundamentals and the psychological stuff with being uncoachable, those things are a problem. And the constant switching with trainers. You know? That's the way I see it. You know, if he's saying, well, I need somebody, I'm going to pick somebody who's going to work close to my style, I would have thought that. See, I don't even know how, I don't see how Eubank Jr. and Adam Booth would have worked. Because check this out. Booth is a stick and move man. He's a man that don't want you to engage only when Booth wants you to engage, right? And you look at Eubank Jr. style, he wants to engage all the time. And Booth wanted to stick and move, stick to a game plan. And Eubank Jr. doesn't sound to me like a guy who can stick to a game plan because he believes he is the game plan. If you believe you are, and check this out, if you're training and you believe you are the game plan, because this is a guy who openly came out, let us remember, a guy that openly came out and said, I don't need no trainer. I don't need no trainer. I'll work it out in there myself. Okay. There's a guy that said that. Again, I like Eubank Jr. But that doesn't make me blinded to the nonsense that he's come out and saying. When he's been instructed in his corner, that's unforgivable. Will you tell your trainer to shut up? Yeah, I was about to say that about Adam Booth. His style is very based on guys who can punch. That's why him and Josh Kelley, no, he's gonna get hurt. As Babang would say, he's gonna get hurt. Wait for it. Josh Kelley's gonna get hurt. He's lucky that Ray Robinson ain't a big puncher, because if Ray Robinson was a big puncher, he'd have been laying out looking up at the lights, and he wouldn't have just been Joshua would have been looking up at the lights tonight. It would have been Mr. Josh Kelley as well. So you all sit there with your Josh Kelley and rub it, listen to the garbage that Adam Booth saying that he's the most talented fighter that's ever been in his gym. What a disgrace. You've got David Haye, whom I think I would like to see Haye with a different trainer, actually. I think we missed the best years of David Haye, because if David Haye could learn how to fight on the inside, they're doing something. Because just check this out. If David Haye was able to get on the inside of Vladimir Klitschko and do proper work, imagine how that would have changed the heavyweight division. Because when Haye got inside, he didn't know what to do. So he just fell to the floor all the time. But if he had a proper game plan, rather than trying to swing for the houses, like some guy that was from the audience having a go, that's what that was. That fight between Haye and Klitschko was have a go. If I can chuck a right hand, like, it's almost like a West Indian mentality. Oh, my dad would say, I could beat Klitschko. Dad, you can't beat no Klitschko. I could beat Klitschko. I don't know how many West Indian dads said, boy, I could beat that boy, man. I could beat that boy. I could beat that. I could beat, like, I remember my days, I could beat Frank Bruno. I could beat Frank. I said, yeah, right, Dad. Let Bruno clap you once with a right hand. You'll soon find out about it. You understand? Just get in there, hope that I catch you with one big right hand and the fight will be over. Nah, not at that level, bro. Think about Lamont Brewster. Lamont Brewster got on the inside and he hurt Klitschko. Look at David Haye. And all it was that shut Haye down was a left jab. For the most part, Emmanuel Stewart said the way he shut David Haye down is by throwing the left jab. Yeah, he did. And now check this out. Evander Holyfield put a better performance on against Valuev and lost to Valuev. Because they didn't want Holyfield to get the title back. But Holyfield kicked Valuev's ass. It was a better performance than David Haye. David Haye probably threw about 40 punches in that fight compared to Holyfield. When he got inside, Holyfield went to work, boy. That's Holyfield. So, and on the subject of Holyfield for a second, I read some ridiculous thing. Somebody said, Holyfield's never a big puncher. Okay, he wasn't a big puncher. Stop Mike Tyson. Not many people do that. Drop Riddick Bowe. I don't know how many people did that legitimately, not by low blows. Knocked out Buster Douglas. Stop Burt Cooper. Stop Michael Moorer. Hamza says, which UK fighter can fight on the inside from the new breed? Well, you got to ask yourself, the new breed of fighters, look at, I'll tell you what, if you were to go and look at Xavier Miller, who's training working with Dillian White, Xavier Miller will be able to teach you how to fight on the inside. The thing is, a lot of these fighters you're seeing today are with these, in with the promoter. Yeah, can't fight on the inside because they themselves are not great trainers, not good. And you've got to look at these trainers, where they learn their trade from. Josh Taylor is good on the inside for UK standards. Yeah, Josh Taylor is good. I like Josh Taylor. I like Josh Taylor, and I like Josh Warrenton. You know, Warrenton reminds me of Scott Harrison a lot. In fact, I'd love to see a fight between Josh Warrenton and Scott Harrison. I think that would have been a great fight. Josh Warrenton versus Scott Harrison. Scott Harrison is on my Facebook page. Eventually, I'm going to get an interview with that guy. Eventually. He likes all my stuff. Scott, you need to give me that interview. And I need to chase that interview with Ray Mercer as well. But my point, going back to my point, Eubank Jr., who else we got? Really, is he the best in the UK? I guess he is because he fought in that Super 6 tournament. So that's what gives him but I like Warrenton. I like Josh Warrenton. I think he's decent. I think he's good. I rate Callum Johnson very high. I really do. And a lot of people don't think much of him, but I rate him really highly. I really do rate that guy. He's got good hands, man, and he was close to beating Beterbiev. You know what I mean? I like Callum Johnson. I just think that guy, I don't want to go in his career, but I like him. Yeah. So Eubank Jr., I would like to see him work with a guy that can teach fundamentals. I'd rather have seen him work with Derek James, to be honest. That'd have been good. I'd like to see him work with Derek James because he's worked with Errol Spence. We know he worked with one of the Charlo brothers already. So I'd like to see Eubank working with them, but that might be a conflict of interest. But Derek James would be a guy I'd like to see him work with. Yeah, that's true. Warrenton has just as good engine as well. Yeah. So that's it. Those are my thoughts on the Eubank Roy Jones scenario. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you've enjoyed this video here. Please let me know if you do like it. Please do leave comments in the comment section. And I will today. Hopefully, my boxing guest should be arriving today as part of my future project or yeah, project I'm working on. So I will do a live unboxing of my boxing gear. All right. So as soon as my gear arrives, I will do a live unboxing. So I think you'll like that. Something new for the channel. Right. I think that's it. Thank you, Hamza, for still being there. Thank you, Ruben, for still being there as well. Much love to you both. And I'll catch you soon. I've got one more video I'll be doing today on a guy that I would like to see enter the heavyweight division. I'll talk to you in a moment. See you soon.